I finally have the greatest, in my opinion, Nikon Z30 vlogging setup.
Working with quite the big vlog setup, you know, if you're into the Casey Neistat style, I guess.
And yes, it's with the Viltrox 1.4 13 millimeters 20 millimeter equivalent on my Nikon Z30. And some people were in other comments and you're like, oh my god, it's not a vlogging lens. Well, guess what? When you are a content creator and you put stuff on the internet, it's your lens, your rules. And I've been experimenting with the Viltrox 20 millimeters 13 to technically see what it's like if I completely vlog with this and use an entire YouTube video content creation just with this lens. So to give you all some context before is I pretty much for the Nikon Z30 there was only this one, right? This is, tap to focus my screen here, the Pancake, the 16 to 50 3.5 to 6.3, right? It's not even 5.6, it's 6.3. So if you get a little context, I'm gonna change my aperture here to 3.5. My ISO is on auto. So this is the background with a 3.5 aperture. And me using the Nikon Z30, I really missed having just a little bit more of a blurry background because one, for vlogging, gets everything, you know, much more focused on whoever is talking. So what I'm gonna do is just pay attention to the background. The ISO is gonna change, but being able to shoot at a 1.4 aperture is beautiful. For storytelling, for vlogging, one, it makes you much more focused. So let's say there's a bunch of people walking by, there's not really much of a distraction because you are the one that is in focus. And who doesn't like a fast aperture? This is great for videos and photos as well. So with this whole vlogging setup, I'll show you some B-roll on top of this, is I have my Pixie Evo, and depending on how versatile or if you want to run and gun this, you can use the Mini right here, which I also have, or you can actually use the one that I'm using right now with it, which is the Evo 2 for heavier loads. And in terms of lenses, what a must you need for this is an ND filter. So if you're going to like run and gun with this, you definitely need an ND filter because it only goes up to f16. It doesn't even go up to f22. So you are definitely wanting to consider to get one of these. You can get these for really cheap, especially if you're a budget vlogger on Amazon. Link in the description below if you want to check this out. And there is like a little X. We just have to be aware of that when you cross your minimum to maximum. But it does the job if you are out and about. Next for my vlogging setup is I have the D4 Duo. This pocket, no battery needed, external microphone for your Nikon Z30 is great because it is a little bit smaller than the Video Micro, but the bonus feature of this microphone is that there's a little switch where if you're vlogging and you're behind the camera, turn on the switch and now I get audio from the back and as well as in the front. So I can talk to someone, point the camera at them, and I can still capture both audio channels. In comparison, if you were to vlog and then switch it back, vlog, and then if you're behind the camera, you're not going to be having that much clarity in terms of audio, which is why this is geared towards a content creator of vlogging setup. And of course, last but not least, if you're about to vlog a whole day with this setup and lens, get yourself 4 of these. Because the Nikon Z30, as you already know, uses a lot more battery than the Z50 as well as the ZFC. So I have 4 of these ENEL25 batteries. So after a week, get some sun in here. And another reason why I am actually using this lens to show you guys, I'm not using any lighting whatsoever. Just direct sunlight, auto ISO. If it's a little bright, I'm just gonna pull my curtain over here just a bit. So you can get a realistic look if you were to vlog with this. Of course, if you were to vlog with this, be aware that there is no internal lens stabilization. Something to be aware of. People are like, hey, get one of these, you know, put it on a gimbal, right? If you want to vlog, if you want to get a little intense. But for the most part, picking up and just vlogging is pretty straightforward. Even though there is a little bit of, let's say, you know, shakiness, there's not much of a rolling shutter in comparison if you have ever used a Sony camera. So what I really like about this lens, guys, is how wide it is, which is why I think it is one of the best vlogging budget lenses, especially if you are a content creator. When I was using the Pancake kit lens right here, much more narrow frame of focus, so I couldn't always be in frame. Where I was using this lens, not only do I get to show you guys my cool background and posters and stuff, it just captures a lot more, and you much be rather having your camera be held here in comparison to there if you were to vlog. And of course, if you haven't been noticing, is I'm not also using my typical Yeti microphone. I'm using the DD4, and all audio is coming directly from the Nikon Z30 via the D4 Duo audio channel. There is a little bit of lens flare when it comes to having direct light sources, so you want to make sure you have the lens hood on. All right. Only downside of this is if you have a ND filter, you're not going to be able to put on that lens hood. But you know, you give and take, and if you're shooting a vlog and for, let's say, for YouTube, for TikTok, for Instagram Reels, a little lens flare doesn't hurt anybody. And I think this might be my main vlogging setup moving forward for this channel, my own personal channel. And if you want to check out all the things that I have mentioned, link is in the description below. And you can also look back at all my older videos to see, you know, the kit lens, a compare contrast, just the different overall personality. Because I don't know about you guys, but every time I have a different lens on my camera, it almost feels like it brings out like a different personality. Where if you're using this one, you know, it's okay. But versus if you were to, let's say you wanted shallow depth of field, right? And you still have one of these budget 35 Nikon, you know, 1.8. You have to Z mount, slap that on. You will get that annoying pulse and hunt, which is why this one, although the autofocus is pretty damn good, is not going to be as good as a native lens. But this, for under this price, you're not going to find something like this quality of glass anywhere else in the market. So link description, check out the Viltrox 13mm 1.4 for your Nikon Z30, Z50, ZFC, and this is the quality that you will get. And from going from kit lens to this, not too shabby, eh? Not too shabby. If you want to know me up and personal, as well as see my vlogging journey, link in description, check out my personal channel, and everything that I mentioned is in the description below. You're watching Broke Vision Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something. Cheers, guys.